Classmates. This semester, our class has traveled back to periods of time where we were led to believe women didn't play a vital role. We now know the truth behind the important impacts women had on society from colonization to today. Many of the stories we heard were buried or ignored for long periods of time. It seems that for a time, the history books were against women's history. Today I'd like to shed light on another subject that women have literally played a part in: baseball. We don't know who the first girl was to strike out her mouthy brother, but we do know that professional female players have been around since the early 20th century. But, like in so many cases, the world acted as if there wasn't enough room in the social universe to fit in female stars. Our first notable star may have the greatest claim to fame of them all. She struck out two of the most well-known players of all time. 17-year-old Jackie Mitchell was a pitcher for the Chattanooga Lookouts. The Lookouts were a barnstorming team that played both amateur and minor league teams. Her team played an exhibition game against the New York Yankees. Jackie's first victim at the plate was Babe Ruth. Her second was Lou Gehrig. How was she rewarded for her amazing performance? First, they tried to call it an April Fool's Day hoax, but the game was on April 2nd. Then the league commissioner made the Lookouts owner tear up her contract. Mitchell retired after a few more years. She was tired of being a sideshow. Instead of signing autographs for her play, she was asked to do things like pitch while riding a donkey. Women had another chance to showcase their athletic talents during the Second World War. Chicago Cubs owner Philip Wrigley feared that Major League would lose money because its most well-known players had entered military service. He decided that a women's team might make money in place of the major leagues. The All-American Girl Professional Baseball League was born in May 1943. After scouting the United States and Canada for talent, 4 teams were created with a roster of 15 girls each. The players were all females and their managers were former major league players. The AA GPBL was not just about letting women play sports. Wrigley insisted the players not only excel as athletes, but also as the feminine ideal. In addition to long hours of practice, the women had to attend charm school in the evenings. Players were told that a spot on the AA GPBL roster was the highest position they could attain, and that they had to represent the league well at all times. For this reason, women were required to carry a beauty kit with them. It seemed that the league was telling them that they had to counterbalance the tomboy stigma of playing sports. My belief is that Wrigley was trying to sell tickets with sex appeal. The women of the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League finally got an opportunity to play the game just like the boys when Wrigley sold the league to his marketing executive in 1944. Wrigley was convinced that Major League Baseball was going to continue despite the war, so he lost interest. The new owner, Arthur Meyerhoff, eliminated the charm school, extended the field of play, and allowed players to pitch overhand. During his time, the league added more teams and saw its highest numbers of attendance. It seemed like the league was ready to take its players to the next level. Until, once again, women baseball players get stranded on the bases. The end of the All-American Girl Professional Baseball League came due to a few reasons. First, Meyerhoff was voted out of the league, and teams became independently owned and operated. This meant players were recruited by the teams, not the league, and soon the better-funded teams had an unfair advantage. Team owners slashed the advertising budget, which couldn't be a worse time to lessen exposure because television was bringing a much larger audience to the men's leagues. Then, in 1952, Major League Baseball officially banned female players. So when the AA GPBL was canceled in 1954, the stars of the league had nowhere to continue their careers. It took 40 years for the ban to be lifted and for another female team to play professional baseball. In 1994, the Colorado Silver Bullets hit the field with 24 players. The team was the idea of former Atlanta Braves executive Bob Hope, and it was sponsored by Coors Brewing Company. This time the women got to play men, and no charm school. Soon the team became a household name. They won several games, but in 1997, Coors pulled their sponsorship and the team folded. Not long after the Silver Bullets left the field, a French baseball prodigy was born. Melissa Mailloux, at the age of 16, gained enough attention from Major League Baseball to be added to the international registration list. This means she is eligible to be drafted into the major leagues. However, the talented shortstop hasn't broken through yet. Despite her notoriety, she was not offered any scholarships to play baseball. Instead, recently she accepted a softball scholarship to a Florida community college, even though she's only played the sport twice. It may not sound like much, but hopefully Melissa's star is on the rise. Women's involvement in professional baseball is still limited today, but we may look back on a few of today's names as trailblazers. Recently, Jenny Finch became the first female manager of a professional team. Although it was just one game in the minors, it's still a step in the right direction. Finch had a notable career as an Olympic softball player and looks to the next generation to break through the glass ceiling. In an interview, Finch mentioned Melissa Mailloux as hope for the future. Another trailblazer around baseball is Sarah Huddick, who pitches on a men's team for Bossier Parish Community College. Also, the Oakland A's have hired the first female instructional league coach, Justine Siegel. It's true that there is plenty of news when it comes to softball, but there's no reason why women can't make more headlines in baseball, other than sexist pushback. As long as female players keep reaching for the stars, there's always hope to bring equality to the diamond and truly make it America's national pastime.